Welcome to this week's Soundbite with my colleague Daniel Kemp and Andrew Cull from Sound Property. Today we wanted to talk about a couple of topics that we get as client managers and sitting down with clients each and every week, discussing their strategies and concerns and goals. We get a lot of questions, and one of them comes up time and time again is if I had a certain amount of money, let's say $1 million, should I split that into two purchases around the $500,000 or keep it together at $1 million? What's your thoughts?
That's a good question. I think based on $1 million, and if you're going to chop it up into two 500K properties, I think it is getting tough investing in where we invest in capital cities. So yeah, at the end of the day, you are going to be further away, and that does introduce elements of risk.
Yeah, in lower socioeconomic areas or in older properties. Or in kind of, these regional markets which can be a lot more volatile. Obviously, our preference is to invest in houses in established, ideally a capital city or a major regional hub. And it's getting tough these days for under $500,000 to get anything in those types of markets. And I think property for us is not a numbers game. It's not about how many properties you own. It's about the quality of the asset. And as a property investor, owning one property at $1 million versus two at 500 is far less paperwork, far less headache, and you've still got the same amount of, basically asset working for you in the market. The other one we get is about borrowing capacity and
another question we get is, say for example, I had a pre-approval at $1 million. Should I maximise and use the full amount, or should I be a little bit more conservative and potentially spend $700K? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, another one we get quite commonly, and again, everyone needs to be able to sleep at night and have that level of comfort when you are investing. But usually it's people are concerned about the cash flow difference between a property at 700 versus $1 million and taking on more debt, and how that affects their kind of overall cash flow position. But ironically, there's not a lot of difference between a property at 700 and $1 million, because obviously on $1 million you've got more rent coming in. Yes, there's more debt, more interest, but there's also more rent coming in on that property, and again, potentially getting a better quality property for $1 million. And so our advice is always to obviously play with what you're comfortable, but utilise what the bank's willing to lend you at the time. Because if you're in that example, if you're leaving $300,000 on the table, and if that market's going up, say 10% per annum, just as an example, that's potentially $30,000 that you're missing out on each year by obviously not utilising that extra money. And then lastly, off-market properties. We get asked this all the time. A lot of people think off-market properties are like the Holy Grail of property transactions. And I think they've got their pros and cons. You've had a couple of pros recently.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we do get a lot of, pre-market, off-market opportunities. 2 weeks ago, I had an opportunity that came up to us. We decided to put an offer forward. The sellers decided to go to market just to sort of see what the market, to test out the market. Agent called me on Monday. We actually were able to secure it for our clients, which was a great result. It's just sometimes they do need to
have unrealistic expectations. What the property's actually worth sometimes, and need to take it to market. I had a good one on the weekend going the other way where it was just purely an off-market transaction that we came across through our agent network that we know, and the client genuinely got it 10 or 20K cheaper, I think, than if it went to market. So pros and cons, definitely not the one and only Holy Grail buying off-market properties, but it's something that we obviously incorporate here at the agency. Awesome. Thanks, Daniel, and look forward to seeing you all next week on Soundbites.
Thank you.